This is my second video about my darkroom. Today we are talking about ventilation and humidity. And let's start why we need to solve some problems with ventilation. First of all, we have different fumes of chemicals. I do wet blades, so I have ether and alcohol, and some other guys maybe, I don't know, some other chemicals. And sometimes I'm wearing a mask. Here is one. So let's get the mask back. I'm wearing this one sometimes. But even if I wear a mask, my skin will absorb the ether and the alcohol, and it will still go to my liver. And the next problem here we have is dust, probably. So if you would do a normal ventilation, you would get a lot of dust in here. I'll just show you in a second how I did it before. And what else is bad of normal ventilation? You lose temperature, or you increase temperature, maybe both is possible. That means that if you open a window and you open a door, you do your ventilation, you do like get out the bad stuff if it's circulating. And then you get in humidity, probably, maybe. And you get in a lot of dust, and you have to heat up more the house in the winter because the temperature is going down. So this is not so good. Let me show you how my previous ventilation looked like. I turned on this one here. It's super loud, as you can hear, and it went out that there in the window. So just turn it off again. And then I went into my studio. Open this door here. I'm not going to open it right now. And the air flowed through here, and it was really getting cold, right? So this is my new ventilation system, and with some magic tricks, I just show you how I build it in here.
I got myself the shell installation kit. With that I can mask the holes for the core drilling. That makes life much easier. For the other holes, I marked everything by myself to avoid cutting in any electric wires. Now the fun part starts. Because this is a different kind of wall, we had to mount the machine like that. And this is how it looks like when I'm sure there's no electric wiring in the wall. Anyway, the company worked really well and also cleaned up all this mess. I was really happy about that. But there was still a lot of work to do. Like fixing the electric wires we cut through. But honestly, this was the best place where this could have happened, because it was really an easy fix, and at the end it was the same like before. I really could fix everything again. I was really happy about that. Here again the shell installation kit with the tubes already glued into the wall. Not the most prettiest thing I did, but it works. To cover everything outside I used this Combi-wall connection kit. With that I'm avoiding that any animals will go into the tubes. As you can hear, it was a long day, but finally we got everything in place. I got great help from a friend who owns a company that builds air ventilation systems. I will link to him below. Here you can see a silencer that will make this silent air ventilation system even more quiet. One of the last steps was to mount the control panel, more in a minute. Here you can see the filters and the heat exchanger. More about that also in a minute. Finally everything was done and we can start to configure the ventilation system. To finish the configuration you have to connect the Windows PC to the ventilation system. It looks like everything is high-tech these days. And we have success! Everything is working as expected.
So we are back here. We did our little time traveling, and the ventilation system is already mounted. You can see here, it goes down here. Down here is a silencer that makes it more quiet. It's running, can you hear it? I bet you cannot hear it. And then it goes from my pouring room into my darkroom. And from my darkroom it goes into my studio, and up here it blows out the fresh air. I can show you that. So here comes the fresh air into my studio. So the fresh air gets blown in here and gets all into my studio to get the best air in here. And then it got sucked in into my darkroom. And from my darkroom, it gets sucked in into from two places, from this corner and that corner there, back outside. So maybe you will ask yourself, what's the difference now, you know? So you still get fresh air in here, you have a machine that consumes power maybe. So what's the difference? First of all, this machine, with a little trickery, I will show you that it has a heat exchange in there. So it doesn't lose a lot of energy. So it means it still keeps the air warm in here. And the next cool thing is this thing here. So here I can control the ventilation. So now the air is a little bit not so good. Normally it is blue or green, but I had some lavender out there. How do you think the machine knows? The machine has a VOC sensor inside. So VOC means volatile organic compounds, and it measures these compounds in the air. That means if I'm working with ether, it will start to increase the ventilation. And this is pretty cool because I don't have to do anything. I just can work in here and this machine will increase it. So I'll pump up the power now more here. So this is now on full power. Now you probably will hear it a little bit. I go close to the machine. Let's see if you can hear it. This is on full power. And this is in the room where the machine is running. So it's really, really silent. If I'm going in the next room, you probably can't hear it anymore. I can hear it a little bit. And in the studio, I cannot hear anything. So it's really, really quiet. And maybe your next question will be, yeah, but then you have a machine that consumes power all the time. So now in full ventilation system, so when it runs on full power, it only needs 11 watts. And if I would put it back, when it goes automatically to these settings normally, if I put it automatically, it only consumes 5.2 watts of power, so like nothing. So that means, first of all, it doesn't consume a lot of power. It doesn't cool down the room. It starts to do the ventilation automatically. If there is too much ether or alcohol in the air, it measured it by ppm. I can show you now quick the up from the ventilation system. Then you can see what's it measuring.
In the up you can see the airflow, the temperature from outside and inside, the humidity, and the parts per million from the VOC sensor. You can see 627 is okay, and like this one is when I was using collodion, so it's much more. These are the dust filters that prevents getting dust into the room or in my studio. These guys need to be replaced, I think, twice a year.
So this is a WS75H Powerbox by Maico. 75 means it can do a maximum of 75 cubic meters of air movement in an hour. So this is more than enough for in here. The air quality in here is super good. So it's like better than in my house. It was the best idea to do that. So I don't lose much temperature. I don't have to heat more. It's super silent. It's really, really nice with the heat exchanger. But there's a little bit more. Let me show you. So maybe you've seen this one here. As you saw before, I still have to use the humidifier here sometimes because it's a very old seller. This part is new, it doesn't need it, but the other part needs it sometimes. Now there comes a part where I learned a lot about ventilation and relative humidity and absolute humidity. That's really a complicated part, and if you have too much humidity in your darkroom or in your house, you probably learned something today, because I learned a lot. So first of all, I showed you the temperature and humidity sensors I use in my darkroom video, and what I do right now, the humidifier is automated just to only run if the humidity is above 60, and if my solar power system is producing enough energy so I don't pay anything for dehumidifying my darkroom. So this is pretty cool for the beginning. And even at night I have a big BYD battery that is charged by the photovoltaic power plant. That's a good combination that I can dehumidify my darkroom without paying anything. But as promised, now comes a part that I didn't understand, and now I understand it really good. There is relative humidity and absolute humidity. So your sensor probably mostly measures the relative humidity, and this doesn't say anything. So I will switch to my computer right now. I will show you what relative humidity is and what absolute humidity is, how you can calculate it, and how it will save your darkroom, or how it will make your head scratch that you probably didn't know about that.
To know the absolute humidity, you need a calculator like this. Let's assume we have 60% humidity and 19 degrees in the darkroom. That makes 9.7 grams per cubic meter absolute humidity. Now outside it's summer, we have 45% humidity and it's like 28 degrees. Here you can see the absolute humidity is much higher, and if you want to decrease the humidity in your room, you should not start to ventilate now. Now let's assume it's winter, and for some reason the outside relative humidity is 70% and the temperature is 5 degrees. You can see the absolute humidity is much lower and it's good to ventilate now. Same thing when it's 8 degrees outside. I knew warm air can transport much more water, but I was not aware of this absolute humidity and what it means and when it's safe to ventilate if you want to get the humidity down in your room. I started to do a script in Apple Shortcuts to get the information when it's safe to ventilate or maybe do automations with it. But I failed. This is a new version a friend of mine did and it looks really promising, and as soon as it's working I will post it on my blog.
So we are back now. I hope I could show you some stuff, and I hope you learned something, because I learned a lot during this construction phase of the air conditioning, not air conditioning, about the air ventilation. I had a friend who helped me a lot. He's starting a YouTube channel about air ventilation and stuff like that. It's not online yet, but I will link down in the description as soon as online. I also will put it up here. Thanks a lot, Wolfgang, for helping me. I learned so much, and I hope people will watch your stuff as soon as it's online. And otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks to all my patrons for your support. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel, do the things with the bell icon down there, and as always, I'll be back, guys.